Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with The Last Huntsman Outdoors here. I got another knife review for you guys. This knife has been in my EDC loadouts and rotation for quite a while now. I actually bought it secondhand from a friend of mine, and I've been excited about it ever since. The knife I'm talking about is the TRC South Pole. This one is in the Apocalyptic and the natural brown kind of micarta look. Super awesome looking knife. Let's check this knife out. All right, so here we have the TRC South Pole. This one has the Apocalyptic finish. It's a really neat looking finish. Has pretty round off spine, really great jimping. Ergonomics is just perfect on it. The Kydex sheath is really nice. I ended up, it had like a nylon kind of a dropper on it. I kind of put an Ulti Clip because, like I said, I do EDC this. Another one that's very comparable in size is the SE4. The SE4 obviously has a little shorter handle, but the overall blade profiles are about the same. The SE4 has that really annoying choil on it. And this one also is a little thinner than the SE4. I think it's close to 5/32 or so, or somewhere in between 5/32 and 3/16, while the SE4 is just a little chunkier blade. So there's a little bit of comparison. Here, first thing first, I gotta baton it. Just see how it does. It has high saber grind, Elmax Steel. Just pop that piece right into. And TRC does an amazing job with their Elmax treatment. Thus far, I'm pretty impressed with it. I know I ran the Apocalypse through the ringer, and this knife has been holding up really well. And with that high saber grind, it does baton really well. Let's get a little bit bigger piece here. Does the job. See what I can do for some feathers here. That's got a real nice little sweet spot right there on the belly there. This knife is super sweet. I'm gonna say I've already fallen to liking this knife quite a bit here. It reminds me kind of SE4 in a good way, minus the choil in a good way. Though it is different, but TRC. Alright, so rocking out the Ulti Clip. I kind of do it just like I do every other one of my EDC fixed blade knives. The TRC South Pole. It rides pretty streamlined. Even with like a t-shirt, I can conceal pretty well, and it draws pretty easily right out of there. All right, we're going to do some notches with the TRC South Pole, and I'm going to do some cross grain batoning and really test out that Elmax. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now that crown spine, it does not allow for a ferro rod to strike it. I already tried, which is weird because the Apocalypse actually did strike a ferro rod really good, but does a good 10 stake notch. let's try to cross grain baton this here. Really test out that Elmax. That's pretty good there. So my overall thoughts of Elmax Steel, I like Elmax Steel. I'm not a big stainless guy. I generally lean on carbon steel. So I'll just state that right off the bat. But there is just a handful of stainless steels that I do like. And Elmax is one of those stainless steels. I will say Elmax is pretty expensive though. This knife is pretty expensive. I don't know if you guys priced these, but they're in the like $350 range or so. And like I said, I bought this one secondhand from a buddy. But it is a pricey steel and pricey knife. TRC does amazing fit and finish though. So I kind of complain about the price a little bit. But that being said, their fit and finish and quality is second to none. That's for sure. I don't see very many knife companies doing this much attention to detail as TRC. All right, with the TRC South Pole, I'm going to just do some basic little slicing here. Just kind of get a feel for it. Now, I'm also going to kind of discuss the ergonomics. I feel when you're just kind of slicing on some wood, it's kind of a good way to feel for hot spots and stuff like that. And there is no hot spots on this handle. It is kind of flat on the sides, but the contouring around the edges and such is actually really good. I kind of debate if I even like a Coke bottle shape on a handle. Sometimes some companies do it really good and some companies don't, but then some companies actually do just flat scales actually really good, and that's the case with the TRC South Pole and even the Apocalyptic that I tested out. So I'm pretty impressed with that. The flat scales does help you index a little better, so I do like that. And this is a very slicey little knife. I would say some people are not going to like when I say this, but I'll say this knife is actually slicier than even the SE4, just because I think it has just a little bit better edge geometry. It's about the same size blade and everything, but with it just being that much thinner, it actually performs a little bit better. Now, there was one thing I was kind of scared about when I first looked at this knife ergonomically, and I've always been kind of concerned about these. I've had a handful of knives where if it just has that like little finger hip there, I guess you'd call it the choil or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But more often than not, they make these like too big for at least my medium to large size hand, that like my finger will rest on that and it gets really annoying. I actually had that a little bit with the Acta P500. However, on this one, it fits my hand perfectly. So it actually feels really good. Just really locks my hand in there. So I have to give it to TRC. I've been really impressed with this knife. Is one of the things that kind of intrigued me by this knife is that real deep guard there. This could make actually a pretty decent little self-defensive EDC fixed blade if that's what you need. So I'm going to just do a little bit of combatives with this knife. So it does stab really well. That deep guard keeps my hand from going up. Oh yeah. For just a basic drop point, now, doesn't have like a super thin tip, but it actually stabs really well. Let's just see how it stays in hand. Once again, my hand doesn't want to go forward. And it's fairly quick in hand. So the TRC South Pole would actually make a great little EDC defensive blade if that's what you need it for. All right, so I'm going to wrap up the review on the TRC South Pole. I really like this knife. I would highly suggest it. Like I kind of said earlier, it is an expensive knife. It's kind of in the $350 range or so. That being said, I would still buy this knife. The fit and finish, the quality, and everything is just really good for this knife. I actually put this in my top 5 EDC fixed blade, kind of EDC belt knife fixed blades. I would definitely have this in my top 5, and of the top 5, they're all kind of pretty equal to each other. That's how much I like this knife. So take that as it will. The sheath is really awesome. Awesome retention. I can't, I can't overstate the fit and finish and attention to detail on this knife. So if you happen to see one, if you see a good deal on it, I'd say definitely hop on the TRC South Pole. Of the TRC knives that I've tested, this one is actually my favorite thus far. Overall, I really enjoy the knife. With all that being said, be prepared, both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.